This episode is brought to you by Olive and June.
And I'm a brand new fan of Olive and June because we're going to be talking about their gel polishes, which we're really excited to get. But prior to even this, like 2 weekends ago, Mats and I were out and he treated me to 2 Olive and June polishes that I painted my toes, and they look so good.
I love painting my nails at home. As you know, Olive and June delivers up to 21 days of flawless wear with a high gloss shine that won't chip, lift, or dull. There's no damaging removal thanks to their new peel off base coat and salon speed soak off system. Say goodbye to the drama of gel removal.
Olive and June's new gel mani system includes everything you need for a salon quality manicure in one box, and you can customize it with your choice of 6 gel polishes, which breaks down to less than $2 a manicure. There's a custom 5-finger LED lamp and the iconic poppy for easy painting with your non-dominant hand.
They also have a high-performance cleaner solution, HEMA-free, 15-free, and always cruelty-free and vegan.
I used to be a huge salon manicure kind of girl. Like, I was getting my gel every couple weeks, and I have to say, like, when I stopped doing that, I realized how much more of my life I had back.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I used to think that going to get a manicure and pedicure was relaxing, but I don't know what happened in the last few years, but
no, it was a sudden shift.
It does not feel relaxing anymore. It just kind of feels like I'm being pushed around and I have to leave. And that is why I switched to doing my nails at home.
I have to say, I think I'm probably the most excited for the peel off base coat, because that has been like the thing that has stopped me prior to this from getting into doing an at-home gel manicure.
Yeah, my nails actually got pretty damaged too because of all the scraping. And I asked him to stop doing that at the nail salon, and they're pretty resistant to that. So I like that I can be at home and, control that myself. I'm also really looking forward to all the shades that they have. They have 60 plus best-selling colors.
I'm so excited. CV red is like that, like perfect orangey red, which is like my favorite shade to wear.
Visit oliveandjune.com/blame me for 20% off your first Olive and June gel mani system.
That's OLIVEANDJUNE.com/BLAMEME for 20% off your first Olive and June gel mani system. I am sure a lot of you have heard of Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide and 98% saying they'd recommend it to friends and family.
Now you can take those results even further by pairing it with the prebiotic collagen protein. It helps to relieve occasional bloating, gas, reduce sugar cravings, and help you feel satisfied longer, boost energy, and help stabilize mood swings.
And because your gut directly affects your hormones, improving your gut health can actually help your hormone harmony results so you can feel like yourself again.
Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier, and that means using only science-backed ingredients that can be proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows.
Right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein in Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with code BLAME at checkout.
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
Welcome to a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? Woo!
Woo! And the crowd goes wild. Ah! Welcome. So happy to have you back here for us to talk at you, be in your ears, listen to us, entertain you on your drive, while you're cleaning your home, while you're, performing witchcraft. If anyone has any Etsy witches that you love, send me the link. I don't know what I want the Etsy witch to do, but I'm hearing they're powerful.
Witches.
Witches and hoes. So we're almost at witchy season. And for the first time, I'm going to watch Practical Magic.
Well, the second one's coming out soon. Is it
Perfect.
coming out this year?
No idea.
Let's see. I feel like if it were to come out, this would be the time.
I think it'd be a little early. Because didn't they just release like photos of them on set?
I don't remember. I feel like they've been talking about it for years. Yeah, it won't be till 2026.
Yeah.
But this exact day.
Oh, no way. September
Yeah,
18th.
September 18th, 2026.
Which is the day we're recording. That's so funny. I love that. What can I say? I'm a little psychic. I need to figure out how to tap into those witchy abilities because I have them. But like, I guess right now all I use them for is the podcast.
Yeah. Tap in. Tap in. What an interesting cast. Of course, got Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman and Stockard Channing. But we've also got Joey King.
Okay.
Macy Williams. Lee Pace.
That's feeling a little random.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it based? Is Macy American? Is Lee Pace? Actually, I don't know I don't know the nationality of any of these men. Lee Pace in a lineup? No idea.
I don't know where it takes. Oh, principal photography began in England.
Oh, okay. Practical Magic goes across the pond. We're doing some spells. Anyways, this is a podcast not about magic, except sometimes we are magically predicting people that we hate for no reason. And then they do something that turns out there's a reason that we hate them. And then we get to talk about it on the podcast. We get to talk about the bad vibes that we're sensing, use those skills, put them to use. And we have 3 different segments. We'll explain each one before we get into it. But what you need to know is we want you to participate. You can participate by submitting things for the different segments. But really, the best way to participate is to vote on who you think was wrong in each part of the episode that we talked about. And to do that, you can head on over to our Instagram. We post stories there and we add them to a highlight. And they're polls. So you get to vote. This is who I think was wrong. I don't think they were wrong. And then write in why you voted the way you did. And we read all those results on our See You Next Tuesday episodes.
I am about to go on a tangent.
Uh-oh.
It has nothing to do with this, but it reminded me because Stockard Channing is in this movie. In case you don't know, that's Riz from Grease.
Oh my God. The way that when you drop the name Stockard Channing so casually, I should have been like, who is that? And then I should have been like, Meghan, of course, that person's in Grease.
I remember that Will Smith's movie role, he was still very new to acting. If you watch the first episodes of Fresh Prince, he memorized everybody's lines and would be mouthing them on the side.
I think that's so cute.
And he didn't know how to turn off what he was feeling in the movie. And so in the movie, he falls in love with her character. And in real life, he also fell in love with her. He had a wife, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was very young, but...
Who's his wife?
I mean, his first wife, that his first son's wife.
I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah. She's...
He was so young then when they got married.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I don't think I knew that he was married before.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just assumed because he was so fucking young.
Yeah. But nothing ever happened between them, but he just felt this very strong feeling of love towards her.
She's also quite a great deal older than him. Stockard Channing is 81 years old.
Yeah.
And
and I think that was part of the movie
56.
too. Yeah. Anyways.
This is brand new information. Thank you for sharing. I like that tangent. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good tangent to have.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Let's get into But Am I Wrong?
So, But Am I Wrong is our first segment. This is where we will pitch a hot take or a rant to one another or something that we want to know if we've been in the wrong about.
All right. Mine is, it's football season, and whether you're a player, a coach, a parent, or a friend, we're all invested in this sport. We love the strategy, the athleticism, the competition, but what we should all be more invested in is the safety of the players on the field. I'm here today to talk about why all football players at every level, from children to professional, should be wearing helmets with an added layer of protection, the Guardian cap. So let's take a moment to look back at the history of the football helmet. The earliest forms of the headgear in the late 19th century were nothing more than a soft leather cap. They were designed to protect a player's ears and prevent cuts and abrasions, not to absorb the brutal force of a collision. Helmets weren't even mandatory in the NFL until the 1940s, and it was a long road from those flimsy leather head harnesses to the hard shell helmets we know today. The real revolution came in the 1950s when the introduction of the plastic helmet and the addition of a face mask. This was a monumental leap forward in preventing skull fractures and facial injuries. Then through the 60s and 70s, padding was added to absorb more impact. And in 1973, the Operating Committee on Standards for Athletic Equipment, or NOCSAE, was established to create and enforce safety standards from helmets. Each innovation over decades has been a step forward, but the fundamental design of the hardshell helmet has remained largely unchanged since the 1960s. We've come a long way from the leatherheads, but the game has also evolved, becoming faster and more impactful. The need for a new level of protection is clear. That's where the Guardian Cap comes in. In 2010, Aaron and Lee Hansen of the Hansen Group saw a gap in the helmet technology. They knew that physics dictates that an outer, softer material could significantly reduce the initial force of an impact. It's the same principle behind a NASCAR driver and the soft wall technology on race car tracks, or the bumpers and airbags in our cars. The Guardian Cap is that soft shell barrier for an athlete's head. It's a layer of padded energy absorbing material that attaches directly to the outside of the hard shell of the helmet. The idea was to provide a simple, affordable solution that could easily be adopted without fundamentally changing the look and sound of the game. Initially, it was designed for practices where players endured a high volume of repetitive blows. The Guardian Cap XT and 2.0 models are built to reduce the impact of those daily hits, and the research backs up its effectiveness. Studies from leading institutes like Rutgers, Virginia Tech, BioCore, and Stanford have all demonstrated that the cap reduces impact. The Guardian Cap NXT, the NFL version, has been shown to reduce a metric called HARM, or Head Acceleration Response Metric, by as much as 40%. And on-the-field data is even more compelling. The NFL has been at the forefront of this movement, has collected data showing that the Guardian Cap is highly effective. In 2024, the NFL announced that it had recorded its lowest number of concussions since tracking began in 2015, marking a 17% decrease from the previous season. This is a direct result of the league's progressive adoption of the Guardian Cap, which has been a mandate from more and more positions during practices each year. This past season, the league even permitted players to wear the caps during games and saw them on the field for the first time in a regular season. I want to emphasize that while concussions are a major concern, the threat of football extends beyond a single diagnosed head injury. We are now acutely aware of the chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a debilitating brain disease linked to repeated subconcussive blows, the kind of hits that happen on every single play, in every single practice, and every game. The fact that the Guardian Cap reduces the severity of these routine daily impacts is what makes it such a game changer. It's not just about preventing a single violent concussion, but about mitigating the cumulative effect of thousands of blows over a player's career. You may have heard about the situation at Alhambra High School in Martinez, California, where parents, after seeing two players suffer concussions, decided to take matters in their own hands and organize a GoFundMe to buy Guardian Caps for their teams. It's an incredible story of a community coming together for player safety, but it highlights a critical point. This equipment shouldn't be a luxury. It should be the standard. We need to do everything we can to protect our players, especially our youth, whose brains are still developing. The science behind the Guardian Cap is sound, the on-the-field data from the NFL is promising, and the need for this kind of protection has been more urgent. Whether it's a professional training camp or a high school field, every player, regardless of age, deserves the best possible protection. The hard shell helmet was a vital first step, but the Guardian cap is the next necessary evolution. It's time we made this simple, effective piece of equipment a mandatory part of the game.
Hell yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. And I have a very hot take about it.
What?
I think if one of the major side effects of CTE wasn't abusing and harming women, if it was like not interpersonal violence and all of that kind of stuff, it was something that was more like outward on the violence aspect of it, I think like the NFL would care more, because it's by the time that they're out that it's like taking full effect of this. And I'm like, I think if you knew that your player was like the level of like aggression and those kinds of changes, because it can start as early as like middle school and high school, and like by the time you're in the NFL, like you already are so predisposed to having CTE, but like your career is usually done by the time it like takes full effect. And so then it's like, well, you're not our problem anymore. And I'm like, are you?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but I also think it's because the majority of the players are black and brown and they just don't care
at all. And it's just like, it's so fucking scary to like watch people be used for their bodies and then like have that like already like dealing with like arthritis and just like joint mobility and all of these kinds of things, or even just like missing out on a huge like aspect of your child's life, or like losing out on your own childhood because like you've done this. Like it takes so much from you that like no amount of money can compensate you for. And then this other aspect of it that like it's destroy it like is your brain, like it's your literal fucking brain.
They're also very inexpensive. I looked them up because I was like, actually, I should be getting these for my nephews too. They're like $67.
Yes. And I think like solution, but one of the solutions to it is like put it in Madden, put it in video games, have it be like that, because like there's this like weird fucking macho sense that like I have to say, if I was dating a football player and they said that like, no, I'm not going to wear the Guardian cap, I'd be like, then you don't care about me. You don't care about our future. You don't care about our kids. Like this is like, it is cause and effect. Like it's not an avoidable thing. It's not like, again, by the time the amount of concussions you've had in high school football, already exponential.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm always like, anytime we're watching a game and I see someone wearing a Guardian cap, I'm like rooting for that person. Love that. Like that. And I wish more people would. And I think like there's this idea that like it looks fucking stupid or whatever. And they're worried about these like middle school fucking fans who are going to make fun of them. Put it in video games, normalize the look of it. And then I think they will fucking wear it.
Yeah. Because it's the same way that seatbelts were made fun of when they first came in, the way that people were making fun of masks. It just has to be normalized. Yep. I mean, initially they were just wearing a piece of leather on their head.
And you know what? I think those look stupid.
They look very stupid.
So they're wearing these like tight little pants. Like there's just this idea that like, well, that's not going to look macho. And I'm like, you're tackling each other and grabbing each other's butts. Like put on the extra hat. Like, come on. And yeah, I think that there's so many ways that this could be done. And it just doesn't seem like the league in itself even really fucking cares.
No. I mean, they're putting research behind it, I think, just because it started to be a thing. But the fact that they haven't mandated it is a problem.
Well, there have been discourse specifically about Tua, who has had so many concussions, that there are players who are veteran players who have known him forever who like aren't hitting him. Like they're like actively changing their game because they're worried about him and his health. And then there are younger players who are trying to make their mark, who are going out of their way to hit him extra hard because they know it's going to get written up about. They know that they're going to get like have a moment. And it's like, this is like, so you now have this other aspect of playing. Like, this is just like not okay. It's not safe for anybody. And like, you're going to have more of the guys and the veterans who have known him and have grown up with him. More of them are going to leave. And you're now going to have more people who are wanting to make their moment by hitting him as hard as they fucking can. Like, that's so scary. And like, we've had like tragedies and like really scary health moments happen like at broadcasted games. And like, that is not something that people like forget and like are like, oh, just par for the course. Like it's getting scarier and scarier and scarier. And I'm like, at what point does like what has to happen for this to actually fucking change?
Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into Meghan's.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. This podcast you're listening to, it was once just a dream. A dream that became reality not by accident, but because someone decided not to let the what-ifs keep them from creating something they believed in. Starting your own business is a dream lots of us share, but too many let it remain just a dream. Don't hold yourself back from creating what you believe in, and turn those what-ifs into why-nots with Shopify by your side. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. What if I can't design a website? Shopify's got you with beautiful, ready-to-go templates to match your brand's style. What if I need a hand? Get help with everyday tasks like enhancing product images, writing product descriptions, or generating discount codes with Shopify's AI tools created for commerce. What if people haven't heard about my brand? Shopify helps you find your customers with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And what if I get stuck? Shopify's always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support. So turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm. Summer really lends itself to a minimal effort, maximum impact makeup look. When it comes to looking and feeling your best, especially in the August heat, sometimes less is more. And when you're working with fewer products, you want the quality to be high, which is why Thrive Cosmetics is your go-to for a simple, clean, and radiant summer look. Every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin, not against it. One of my favorite Less is More products is their Brilliant Eye Brightener. It's a waterproof eyeshadow and highlighter stick that comes in 34 shades. The shimmer shades are great for brightening up your inner corners, and they also have really lovely neutral matte shades that, again, can make a really big impact on your overall look without requiring too much product. Plus, for every product purchased, Thrive Cosmetics donates products and funds to help communities thrive. And with over $150 million in product and cash donations to over 600 giving partners, your purchase directly fuels real impact. Maximize your look with minimal effort. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/thrive for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/thrive.
We are back. It is time for mine. And I want you to prepare because this is fucking insane. Like, it's insane. I'm not even going to be able to go through all of this. So I'm going to shout out the link that you can do to like read even more about this. But my hot take is I personally think it's kind of crazy to admit to crimes in a published novel. And I think if you're going to publish the crimes that you have done, that you have gotten away with, I think the statute of limitations, we didn't widen that a little bit. This applies to Elizabeth Gilbert, who most people would probably know her if they know her writing. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which I've never seen. To me, it is one of those movies about like older white women that the older white women in my town loved. And then I said, ooh, that's not going to be like, not really for me. And I don't know anything about it.
I watched it, I'd say maybe like 3 years ago. And I hated every moment of it. Except for like Julia Roberts, I love her. But I just I didn't understand why it was getting so much praise that it did.
Do you remember the book / movie Wild that was made? So that
I
was
read
like
it and I watched the movie.
That was like the same level of obsession that the white women, older white women that I grew up with. It was like these two things where they were like, "Oh my God, I see me in this." And I go, "You see yourself in this? You're about to go try." And I was like, "This is delusional. I can't." But
I liked Wild more than
I'm sure. It's just that the fan base of this turned me away from this because everyone's like, "I see myself," and I go, you're not doing that. That's not what you're doing at all. If you want to go do that, hop in the woods. But that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
So, but someone messaged me and they were like, "I can't believe that this is, she wrote Coyote Ugly." And I said, hold the fuck up. She didn't write the screenplay of Coyote Ugly. She wrote like a story that was adapted for that. But like, as somebody who watched Coyote Ugly for the first time when I was maybe 7 years old, it has been one of my favorite movies forever. Like, I love Coyote Ugly. Just as Tyra Banks' acting career. Like, I was like, you're kidding me. Like, because I was like, this lady's wild. I never have to give anything up. I was like, thank God she didn't write Coyote Ugly, but my God, what a life this woman has had. So, she just released her new book, and in it, she, as a quick little recap, she admits to enabling her girlfriend Raya's drug relapse, abandoning her on her deathbed, as well as plotting her murder. Yeah, you heard me right. So there is a great Reddit summary post that this person did. So I'm going to send you the link so we can put it in the show notes, because I'm not going to be able to get through all of the summary of this. Like, that's how bad it is. But the memoir is called All the Way to the River, and it just got released this week. So it's really fucked up. Trigger warning for truly everything. And here's just some of this. So they had been best friends. Elizabeth and Raya had been best friends since 2000, before she even wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And Raya was a former cocaine and heroin addict. And Elizabeth had gifted Raya a house in 2013 to allow Raya to write a memoir about her addiction and recovery. And then when Raya was diagnosed with pancreatic and liver cancer in 2016, given 6 months to live, Elizabeth immediately broke up with her husband, who is the man that she met at the end of Eat, Pray, Love, and who she wrote another book about, like, Committed about. And then she confessed her love to Raya. And then, take in mind, Elizabeth did not include details of the divorce because she wanted to respect his privacy. Raya, no longer with us. So that privacy, fuck it, apparently. She promised, they became a couple. They had a ceremony. She promised not to leave Raya's side throughout all of cancer, saying all the way to the river, all the way to the river. And that's what the title of the book is. So after her cancer diagnosis, Elizabeth enabled her relapse back into drug addiction, used alcohol, weed, Xanax, Ambien, mushrooms, and MDMA with her. She watched as she abused prescription painkillers, knowingly gave her money to start buying cocaine again, also personally bought her thousands of dollars of cocaine from local drug dealers, registered with the city as a drug user to get needles for Raya, tied off her limbs and held flashlights up to help her shoot up. In the midst of all of this, she started plotting her murder, collecting the needed medications and fentanyl patches. And it was very clear in the book that this was, in fact, a murder attempt and was not compassionate euthanasia. Raya did not want to die. That was not what she wanted. She said, "This is the planned murder. I'm the nice lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and I came very close to premeditatedly and cold-bloodedly murdering my partner because she had taken her affection away from me and because I was extremely tired." And she only stopped plotting the murder when Raya started figuring out what she was doing. So after that, she sat Raya down and told her that she thought Raya had lost her soul and integrity, and that Raya was degrading Elizabeth's soul. And Elizabeth had accepted Raya's death, and Elizabeth felt she had done all she could, and now she wasn't going to stick around for what Raya had, quote unquote, gotten herself into. So then kicked her out of their shared home. So Raya is now homeless, went no contact. Raya had nowhere to go. And now she was homeless, addicted to drugs, and the drugs that Elizabeth was quite literally administering for her. And she was then forced to move several states away with one of her other exes, who just found out about this and agreed to take her in. And very quickly, that ex of Raya's got her sober, back under a medication plan for this, and locked up the other meds, didn't give her any drugs. And once Raya's ex got her sober, Elizabeth, knowing that she had now gotten sober, reestablished contact and visited Raya at her ex's home until Raya died just a couple weeks later. So now it's about 7 years after her death, and Elizabeth claims to have achieved this high level of peace through a 12-step program for sex and love addiction, and says that Raya's sister has objected like vehemently to the memoir, saying that it's exploitative and that she really didn't want like her sister's death to be monetized like this. But Elizabeth claims that she got permission to write this memoir several years after Raya's death, when Raya's dead spirit visited from beyond the grave to communicate with Elizabeth in Elizabeth's own mind. And this is what Elizabeth said of this, saying that she could hear Raya's spirit in her mind telling her that Raya's kind digs about being dead, and that Elizabeth should write all the gory details in a public book because Raya's spirit has no use for dignity since she's dead. And also she said that Raya's spirit called Elizabeth beautiful 3 times, made cancer jokes, and predicted that Elizabeth was going to become enlightened. And then her ultimate view on all this is Raya is my most beautiful story. And I want to add another note to this because I will say someone sent me a fucking DM that I was like, and I responded being like, did you misread this? Was basically being like, you know, she's a wonderful writer. And like, I think people are being really harsh. I haven't read the book. People are being really harsh with these reviews. But like, you know, it was known that like, we shouldn't like try and glamorize people on their deathbed. Like sometimes people are just people. And like, she had a known history of drug abuse. I'm like, are you not understanding that that's not what this is? Like, at all. And I think a lot of people are like, okay, well, yeah, the plotting the murder part's bad. But like, you know, some people just want to have like a fuck it mentality of like, you've got 6 months to live and you're just going to go have whatever you want, any of the vices, any of the things you're addicted to. And like, that is a thing that happens to a lot of people. That is like not the case here. So this is like this was written about in The Guardian from an article from Dina Nayari from September the 11th. And it's all the way to the River Elizabeth Gilbert review, excruciating to read. So that's from this. But in this, she quotes, when Raya divorces, Gilbert offers her an isolated house away from her sobriety group. When Raya itches to drink again, Liz enables it. Once Raya is diagnosed and given a 6-month prognosis, Liz confesses her love, a dangerous thing to offer a dying addict. Let's just live balls to the wall until I die, Raya says, turning down chemo for cocaine, which Liz pays for. All of this Liz thinks of as my most beautiful story. So Liz removed her from the sobriety house prior to the cancer diagnosis. And then when the cancer diagnosis forewent having chemo and cancer treatments. That's not Raya's, that wasn't, that's what Elizabeth decided to do. Mm-hmm. That's what she decided to do. And like
also decided to buy drugs and administer them. Like she talks about buying needles and things. Yes.
And like this, like she just used her. Like she used her as this like reason and excuse to do all of this. But like, it's just horrific. Like it's so fucking horrific. And there is like no mention in her. I haven't read the book, but like I watched a bunch of interviews of people and a bunch of like podcasts of people who have like read the book and talked about it. And have said like that the glaring thing that like she like never fucking really addresses at all is like she'll address like different power imbalances, but like in a way that's like I'm not into Raya anymore because like now she's like a gross drug addict, and it's like you did this and like you did this all intentionally, and like you want someone who's dying of cancer to take care of you. Like what the fuck are you talking about? But like she never acknowledges or addresses the fact that like she has an insane fucking amount of money. Like she has so much money. She has so much power and so much control in like that aspect of this. So like when you have like your very, very, very wealthy, rich friend who's like, I'm going to save you. I'm going to come and save you. And then you become entirely fucking dependent on them because they've got the money to do that. Like it's not, you don't think you're putting them out because you're not financially, bottom line, you're not putting them out of anything. They've got more than enough of this to then rip that from underneath them. Like holy fucking shit. Or even like going to doctor's appointments or whatever. Like people, when you have that fuck you level of money, people treat you different. You get to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like you have lawyer money. If you wanted to sue people for a reason that's not legitimate, but like for any fucking reason. So like people are going to tread more lightly around you. And I just think like the whole thing is like so fucking wild. And like, she's like the ultimate victim in all of this. And I haven't read Eat, Pray, Love, but a lot of people who read it were like, this is like, unfortunately not surprising based on someone who has like zero self-reflection and has like a desperate need to be the victim and to be needed in any which way.
Yeah, I had sent you a message and I was like, she's the definition of somebody that does it for the plot. Like she just does things so that she can write a book about it later. And I would like for Julia Roberts to do a sequel, but an unauthorized sequel to Eat, Pray, Love, so that she didn't get any money from it. And it like focuses on how horrible of a person this woman is.
Yeah. And like immediately I was like, she's admitting to like crimes here in this. Like this is like really scary. And the statute of limitations on this is like 3 years. It's been longer than 3 years. And like the part that like really freaks me out the most is like, as someone who has written a book, you have to go through the legal team with your publisher to like make sure the things that you're, especially for like a memoir, but like the things that you're saying, the quotes that you're using, like they're used to people taking, you know, legal action against some of the stuff. If this isn't real, if this isn't, even if it is true, but like you have to have, there's a whole process. You have like 2 different pieces of evidence. One has to be like at this level. One has to be at this level. It can't just be like your memory. You can't just say something off of your memory and say that this happened. Like it could be like, you have to phrase it in a certain way. And so like knowing the fact that like the legal team at her publisher had to like look up the statute of limitation, like, do you know what I mean? Like they had to like make sure that like this wasn't like a legal problem. And I'm like, that's so wild to me, because like that to me is like a loophole in the law. Like the fact that like, oh, time's passed. Now I can just say all of this. And like, it's just like awful and horrible. And she's going to make so much fucking money. And like, there's still not a lot of, I've just seen people like when I searched up the book, it's just like people being like, can't wait to read this. I'm so excited. Like she's such a great author. And I'm like, this is like so scary. And that
because most people are probably not thinking about real people being part of this. Even though they know it's nonfiction, it's not their lives, and they don't care.
And she's using Raya as like a stepping stone for her own like personal growth journey. I'm like, this woman died. Like, and I'm not here to like dispute like medicine or whatever, because like, yes, sometimes, like oftentimes when like saying that you have 6 months to live is coming from like an educated like place from medical teams. Sometimes it's not. Like sometimes people defy that, and it's like, oh, okay. Or, you know, you'd spend the last 6 months of your life not absolutely miserable and ending up homeless. Like it's just like, it's so fucked. And this woman is like disgusting.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think you should be able to publish crimes in a book. I think that should open up put the clock back up.
In the same way that OJ, he wrote his book, If I Did It, did the whole thing, but then it got pulled from the shelves. This should have gotten pulled.
No, this should open up a brand new like I think the clock needs to like start it again. Like this is now you have new information. Like this is just the statute of limitations in general, I think are like fail in like 99%. And I'm only saying 99, not 100%, because I don't know every instance in which it's actually been beneficial for this to be done. But like, yeah, it just feels wildly irresponsible to publish this if like in publishing it, it doesn't aid in Raya's family getting any amount of justice. Like it just aids in like bolstering Elizabeth's pockets.
Yep. All right, you're not wrong. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight? Aha! Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at canva.com.
Are you looking for a movie review show where the critic is at the top of his or her game, meticulously breaking down and explaining exactly why a film does or does not work? Well, good luck with the search, because we're having fun here on Adam Does Movies. Each and every week, I hit the big blockbusters, I cover the streamers, and I even toss in some movie news for fun. Check out the show on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, and hopefully, we can do movies together. Hot.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
All right, we're back, and it's time for But Are You Wrong? But Are You Wrong is when y'all write in and share predicaments that are going on in your life, and then we judge you and let you know if you're wrong or not. You can write into butamiwrongpod@gmail.com or fill out our form or DM us. And then you also can vote when we put the stories up on our Instagram. Here's the first one. I'm 19, she, her, and I need an outside opinion because I cannot tell if I am way off here. My mom keeps trying to set me up with one of her coworkers, a 29-year-old he/him named Alex. It started as a harmless joke when I met him at her office holiday party, but now it feels like a running bit that has gotten weird. Alex and I actually get along. We like the same music, we trade memes, and sometimes we text late at night about new bands. When he works late, I'll drop off coffee or snacks if I'm nearby, and he stops by our house to say hi to both of us. Somehow it has turned into this half-serious joke that we're basically engaged, and everyone at her office plays along. My mom adores him and keeps saying things like, he'd be the perfect husband for you. He's stable, funny, and he already likes the family. She's even suggested double dinner so we can get to know each other better. Here's the problem. I like Alex as a person, but the age gap makes me uncomfortable. He's almost 30 with a full career, and I'm still figuring out my major. I keep wondering if I'm being uptight. My mom swears it's harmless and says I'm overthinking it, but sometimes it feels like I'm being pushed into a situation that crosses a line. So am I wrong for feeling weird about this and pulling back, even though Alex is kind and never inappropriate? Should I speak up and tell my mom to stop? Or am I making a big deal out of an innocent friendship? This is weird. Go with your gut. Tell your mom to stop. Also, you should stop talking to him. Don't go up to the work and drop off snacks or anything unless it's just for your mom. So yeah, I do think this is weird. I don't think you're being weird, and I think you should tell your mom no.
Yeah, I think this is like really sketchy. Like very, very sketchy. If there's like not a cultural thing that I'm getting here, like if there's an aspect of that, because I can only speak on it from big old fat age gaps in my culture and community, and by that I mean my own personal life. And if your mom has a really big age gap with her partner, or if the person who, like, if I don't know if your dad is in the picture or whoever, like your father was, if she had there was a large age gap there, I think that like if you are in an age gap relationship that is like super healthy and wonderful and great, you know that that's the exception to the rule, and you don't like try and push people to like do that. I think if you are if you're pushing someone to get into an age gap relationship, oftentimes it's because you like control and you know that there's like an aspect of that there. And I don't know if your mom is just like so much older that she's like not really thinking about like the big age gap there. But like, I do think that people who want what's best for you would never want a 19-year-old to be with someone who's almost 30. And like, I don't mean to say that like your mom doesn't want what's best for you, but like, I think that you have to acknowledge that like this choice that she's making, or even these jokes and all of that, like that is factually point blank inappropriate. And your mom might like love you and be wonderful and great, but like she is not seeing or thinking clearly about this circumstance. So you should not take her word for it that it's okay. You shouldn't take her word for it that it's fine, that it's no big deal. If you tell her that you want her to stop and she like is like, oh my gosh, you're being such a baby. You need to know that like this is just fundamentally not okay. And just because she's your mom and she says it's fine doesn't mean that it is. And, you know, I don't know if she has malicious intent or she subconsciously does, or she just doesn't, whatever, just her barometer of like how normal and okay this is just like fully off. And you need to trust your gut. And yeah, I also think parents who, if you tell her that like, hey, my gut is just telling me no, I think that to me should always be the end of the conversation. Like I will never want, I mean, friends, anyone, but like especially if I had a kid, like if they're telling me like in my gut it doesn't feel right, I will never, ever, ever try and steer you different from like your own compass, like your own feeling of all of that. Like you can know yourself better, you know the circumstance better, because you know how you feel. So to me, this should like what everything you're saying to us should like put a full stop to this happening. And if it doesn't, I think you need to create some space. But like Melissa said, like this man's not your friend, and him being okay with being your quote unquote friend as you are 19, I also think is inappropriate. So like you need to pour into friendships that are appropriate, because they can, there's not this like insane power imbalance there.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, because I can't even imagine like how it makes you feel like you're crazy because you think that something's off, but everybody's telling you it's fine. And all these are adults in your life that you're supposed to listen to.
All right, next one.
I'm 24, she, her, and I need a reality check. Well, we're here for it. Backstory. I dated a guy named Matt for about 1.5 years in college. Our breakup was ugly and we went completely no contact. A few months later, he started dating one of my close friends, Jenna. They were together for over 2 years, and I heard they were even talking marriage. Recently, Jenna came out as gay and ended the relationship. Out of the blue, Matt started texting and calling me. We've been chatting, and it feels easy because we've known each other long before we dated. Part of me thinks it's harmless to rebuild a friendship, but part of me wonders if I'm stepping into a minefield. He and Jenna aren't fully broken up. They're in a murky finding things out stage. I don't want to be the reason for extra drama or look like I'm breaking some unwritten friend code. At the same time, Matt and I genuinely enjoy each other's company and have the same sense of humor. It feels natural to talk. Here's my dilemma. Am I wrong for staying in touch with him while his breakup with Jenna is still fresh? Should I draw a boundary and wait until it's clearly over? Or is it fine to just be friends since we share history and there's no romantic intent on my side? I keep second guessing whether this crosses a line with Jenna or if I'm overthinking. What would you do? Am I wrong for even considering a friendship right now? Thanks so much. Love the podcast. I mean, are you still friends with Jenna? That's my question.
Yeah, that was my number one question too.
Because you don't mention anything about your friendship with Jenna, like, which to me, if you are friends, I think you've already then kind of like made your decision, because like you're downplaying that friendship to like justify you're downplaying that current friendship to justify this like rekindling of a potential friendship. But like, I don't know, having no romantic intent on your side, you don't know that there's no romantic intent on his side. And also like, I will say that like, I don't like being like used. And to me, I feel like you're kind of being used as a pawn. Like you're being used as like either emotional labor from him or whatever, that I think like someone who's like in the right place to like rekindle a friendship and be a good friend, this is not how they'd reach out to you. Like, yeah. So I don't know that the friendship in itself that like, I have a feeling that this friendship with him will be very short-lived, and it'll be he's leaning on you because he's not getting his, I don't know, whether emotionally it's like because he's going through a hard time and like wants to come back to something that's comfortable, that he's familiar with. But like, I don't think that this is like, oh, I'm losing my friendship with Jenna and I'm gaining a lifelong friendship with him. I think you're probably going to lose both of those friendships.
Yeah, I feel like you're not friends with Jenna, and things probably ended bad, and that's why he felt comfortable reaching out to you, because he thought that, already an enemy, then True. I can reach out to somebody that already doesn't like her. Because, like, were you okay that they started dating after y'all broke up?
Good point. Probably not.
Probably not. And now he's like, why haven't they ended things?
Yeah. Figuring out what? How do you know she's gay?
Yeah.
Like, is this like him telling you, like, we're having a you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And did she use the word gay, or did she say bi? And he's not okay with her being bi.
Yeah.
Because why else would they still be together?
Yeah. Or like if she's talked about like, I'm questioning my sexuality and like, I don't know what this means, but I'm still like, I still love you and I still love us. Like if you're getting this like secondhand information, it is not the truth. Like it is a version that makes it okay for him to be reaching out to you. And it makes a version of him that's like, poor me. I need to be coddled. I need love and attention.
Yep.
I just think we should never do this much for a man.
Me either. Friendship or not. Because if y'all were really this good of friends, why did you stop talking afterwards? Because if you were that good, then you would have continued to talk. Why is he now talking to you while he's still in a relationship with somebody else that's on the rocks?
Because that tells me you actually don't care about our friendship. You don't respect our friendship because like you're not taking any care in that. Like you're treating me like let me circle back to like my high school girlfriend who I can, who I used to hook up with over Thanksgiving break when we were in college. Like it's just like you're running it back in a way that I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel like you actually thought our friendship was meaningful at all.
Yeah.
I'd be insulted by it.
You're wrong.
Yes, you are wrong. But you have the opportunity to write it. And that is goodbye, Matt.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
My name is Troy LaValle, and I'm the host of the Glass Cannon Podcast. This is a podcast where my friends and I sit around and play role-playing games and record it. Through improvisation, using comedy and drama, we take the rules of whatever game we're playing and we turn it into appointment television. It truly is infectious fun. We travel the whole country playing rock clubs, turning games like this into a spectator sport. So please, check it out, the Glass Cannon Podcast. If you want some joy in your life, give it a listen.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Tom.
So big news to share, right?
Yes, huge, monumental, earth-shaking.
Heartbeat sound effect big. Mate is back.
That's right. After a brief snack nap.
We're coming back. We're picking snacks.
We're eating snacks.
We're rating snacks.
Like the snackologists we were born to be.
Mate is back.
Mike and Tom eat snacks.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Unless you get them from a snack machine, in which case, call us.
Call us.
Hey, it's Hillary Frank from The Longest Shortest Time, an award-winning podcast about parenthood and reproductive health. We talk about things like sex ed, birth control, pregnancy, bodily autonomy, and, of course, kids of all ages. But you don't have to be a parent to listen. If you like surprising, funny, poignant stories about human relationships and, periods, The Longest Shortest Time is for you. Find us in any podcast app or at longestshortesttime.com.
It's time for But Are They Wrong? This is where we nominate a person, place, or thing, someone in current events, pop culture, zeitgeist that we would like to nominate for being wrong. I will say there's a lot of wrong happening. So again, sometimes depending on what's happening in the world, we have to remind this is not a ranking of the worst of the wrongs.
You're right. So my pick this week is Michael Scaletta Teates. And this is a developing story out of Washington State. The authorities uncovered what they're calling a complex case of alleged criminal impersonation. A man who is also a convicted felon is now facing charges after he reportedly posed as a police officer, responding to actual emergency calls in uniform and tactical gear. This is a story that has left local law enforcement and community members baffled and concerned. So we're going to walk through the details of how this elaborate scheme unraveled and what we know about the man at the center of this. So it began on September 5th in Bremerton, Washington. According to a report from the Bremerton Police Department, 49-year-old Michael Scaletta Teates arrived at an active police scene, meaning there were other cops there. He wasn't there as a civilian. He was dressed in a dark uniform, wearing a tactical vest, and had a metallic Edmonds Police Department badge and police and SWAT patches prominently displayed. He was driving an unmarked Ford Explorer outfitted with activated blue emergency lights. Body cam footage captures the moment Bremerton police officers first saw Scaletta Teates. The officer can be heard saying, "I thought you were like one of our detectives at first." Scaletta Teates, for his part, tried to project an air of authority and familiarity, telling the officers, "I know some of the guys with the task force." It was a smooth facade, one that seemed to work initially. Scaletta Teates was observed responding to a trespassing call and a tip about a potential fire in a parking garage, appearing to assist legitimate law enforcement. He introduced himself as Mezzy, M-E-Z-Z-Y, Scaletta, and claimed to be an officer from Edmonds Police Department, a city roughly 35 miles away. The suspicions of the Bremerton officers grew. They asked for Scaletta Teates' police commission card, the official identification for law enforcement, which he failed to provide. This simple lack of document was the key that unlocked the truth. Officers called the Edmonds Police Department to verify his employment. Their response was swift and definitive. They had no record of a Michael Scaletta Teates and confirmed he had never been on their payroll. The badge he was wearing was not from their agency, and the number on it was not valid Edmonds Police badge number. As officers placed him under custody, Scaletta Teates was captured on body camera asking, "Can we not do this in front of really?" He was quickly handcuffed and led away. A quick look inside his vehicle revealed the extent of his deception. A Bremerton officer noted, "He's got a fire helmet too. He's ready to do it all." It appeared Scaletta Teates was prepared for a number of roles. He had also allegedly claimed to have retired from the Baltimore police after 2 decades and worked at the Thurston Sheriff's Department. He also had a gun on him and a really cheap cam he was using as a body cam. As the investigation deepened, more of Scaletta Teates' past came to light. He was found to be a convicted felon, having been found guilty in 2016 of making a bomb threat in North Carolina, for which he served 185 days in prison. Despite his felony, he had been working as a security guard for the Salvation Army, where a witness told the news that he had been intimidating and had told people to shut up and keep walking. He also allegedly responded to an emergency at a 7-Eleven. Following his arrest, he was booked at the county jail and charged with first-degree criminal impersonation and unlawful possession of a firearm. His bail is set at $50,000.
Like, we unlock whole new levels of losers.
Yeah.
This is just loser times 1,000. Like, what? Can we not do this in front of... Also, that name that he gave himself sounds like a fucking cop, like a goddamn network show that your dad and I watch.
Or he put it through a cop name builder
generator.
Yeah.
No, it's so can we not do this? What are you doing? I'm walking me. It's oh my God, what?
The footage of it, hilarious.
Well, I also have to assume that the police are not that intelligent. So the fact that they so quickly were you're not doing a good job, even
but
at
it was
pretending.
Also, he would have not been in his jurisdiction. Doesn't make sense.
You lied poorly and badly, and you spent the money on a firefighter helmet, but you got a cheap, what I assume is a dash cam you've glued to your fucking body on a GoPro strap. What?
Also, why would you go when there's police already there? The 7-Eleven thing, he got there and got out before any actual police showed up.
Yeah, why don't you just go to Krispy Kreme and get a free donut or
yeah.
I don't know, something else.
You're literally getting nothing from this. There's no paycheck that you're getting. You're just cosplaying as a police officer.
You're not getting any of the perks. You're not getting thank you for your service. People who lie about being veterans who get that shit or whatever. But you're not even getting attention in a everyone's just who's that weirdo lying? Mm-hmm. And you're it's me, Mezzy. Wait, that's so crazy. I did not hear about this. So thank you for sharing this.
You're welcome.
I love when people do stupid and embarrassing things.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
and please don't do it in front of everybody.
No, not everybody, not my guys. And they're like, who? Not in front of the squad.
Yeah.
Why not? We came up in the academy together. Quite literally, no, you didn't. You were in jail when they were in the academy for 100 days. Doesn't seem like a lot.
No.
Okay, so for my nomination of Wrong of the Week, it's also football related, and I would like to nominate the Kansas City Chiefs. So they are facing criticism. Criticism is like a very light word that I would say. I think it's so fucking stupid, and they look like a bunch of men being losers. The theme of this nomination. They showed up for their, I don't know, practice, game, something. They all showed up and they decided, they had a group chat and they said, everybody, like, what if we like all match? Let's match. And there had to be enough planning and foresight into this because they had to order matching shirts that someone had to design and make for them to all have so they could all wear them on the same day. And that was wearing free 4 shirts in support of their teammate, Rashee Rice. And if anyone doesn't know, Rice is serving a suspension and a 30-day jail sentence, which is crazy and incredibly soft, after pleading guilty to felony charges relating to a high-speed crash in Dallas. And when I first learned about this, I opened the comments because someone talked about it on TikTok at first, and opened the comments, and it's all these people in Dallas being like, wait, that was that crash? Everybody knew about the crash. Not even recognizing that he was a part of it. Like, the crash was so bad prior to they even know who did it that, it was devastating. It was so fucking bad. And it's it was massive news before we even knew who was behind the fucking wheel. And now you have the teammates of that person who got an incredibly fucking soft charge for this because of who he is and because of the NFL. And the NFL gave him an even softer punishment for this. And then they're like, free him. Free him from what, fuckers? Free him from truly what? And I will say, Travis Kelce is also wearing that. So ask yourself about that. So the attorney of one of the crash victims called the player's actions cruel and said his client has not yet even received her $1.1 million settlement. So I will say it's not all of the Kansas City Chiefs players, some of them. Yeah, they wore this shirt, and part of it was he was in a Lamborghini going 119 miles an hour, went on a shoulder, came back, clipped this person, spun her car, and then her and all 5 other people were hurt. And Andy Reid said, and also for Andy Reid of all coaches to be like, I'm okay with you guys making a stand for a at-fault vehicle collision that came away with serious injuries is crazy to me, because I'm like, and now we're just re-Googling your son. We're now re-Googling all of this. This team has a history of being very okay with this. Saying that the shirts display nothing more than support. They love the kid and they want him to feel a part of it in their own way. So the whole backstory is he did plead guilty to felony racing on the highway and the felony accident causing serious bodily injury on July 17th. He was sentenced to 5 years probation and 30 days in jail. Jail time is to be served sporadically, weekend jail.
So whenever he feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's I got time today, I'll go to jail.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't have practice. I can go. And this makes me so mad. So it was initially just going to be probation, but the judge, Ernest White, said he added jail time because it really bothered him personally that Rice fled the scene without checking on victims. He fully just devastating car crash going, again, well over 100 miles an hour. And he embarrassingly, it's literally on video, fled. Not in the car, fled. And I feel like we've had something like that in our neighborhood where someone caused and thankfully nobody was hurt, but they totaled a fucking car. And if anybody was there, they would have not survived it. It was awful. And if that car hadn't been there, this person would have driven into someone's home. It was awful. And there's just video of them running away, abandoning their car and leaving. And I just think it's so just awful. Again, thank God no one was hurt in this, but this person doesn't necessarily know that that there wasn't. I mean, thankfully no one was in the car, but I'm you don't necessarily know that.
But in this situation, there was somebody in the car.
And you're on a fucking freeway. Like, there are multiple, this is not just like a single car collision now at this point. Like, you have now fucked up, there will be, maybe not that you can see with your eyes, but like when you have an initial and when you live in a place that has a lot of freeways, you have one crash, that crash slows things down that then causes other crashes and other things. And it just like, just to not even check is wild to me. And yeah, so they wore it to their week 2 game against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is like,
and they lost. I just want to put it out there.
They did lose. But it's like the reason they can say that the timing was like, well, that's when all the shirts finally came in that we ordered off of Etsy. But like, that's also like the most anticipated game of the season so far. Like like all of this shit that I'm like, you have the most eyes on you. And like all of the fucking players wearing this shirt, getting photographed, all look so fucking smug that and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it's such an embarrassing thing. And for the NFL, his punishment that he got for the NFL was a 6-game suspension. So free him from the first 6 games. He's not even out the whole fucking season. He gets to do weekend jail whenever he fucking wants to. He still hasn't paid the settlement from this. And you're protesting the fact that you think the NFL should have given him what? Nothing? You think that he should have had 0 repercussions of this? So the NFL reportedly said they sought I don't know if they said it, but reportedly they sought a double-digit suspension before he accepted a 6-game punishment. So, yeah. I just think it's like beyond poor taste. And again, like for a team that has a horrific history with vehicle collisions and like pushing it under the rug, I just think that like morally it's depraved. And I commend the players who were asked to participate and who didn't. And like, I don't know who that is, but like not everybody did it. And like, I'm so glad that there were people who were like, no, that's not cool. Like, that's not a good idea. And I think everybody should be looking sideways at every single person who participated.
Yeah.
Or who's defending it, like Andy Reid. And again, look up Andy Reid's son. Look up, and I'm not talking about like his son makes whatever mistake. Look up how that went about job employment wise.
Yeah. All right. That's the end of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow we've got See You Next Tuesday. Thursday we've got Don't Blame Me, Friday and Fisting Friday, and then we'll be back here for But Am I Wrong? We will circle back. Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Are you looking for a movie review show where the critic is at the top of his or her game, meticulously breaking down and explaining exactly why a film does or does not work? Well, good luck with the search, because we're having fun here on Adam Does Movies. I talk to you like we just got done seeing a movie together, giving you the pros and cons, and I'm digging in the trenches, in the mud and muck, on streaming services, telling you which films are worth your time. Each and every week, I hit the big blockbusters, I cover the streamers, and I even toss in some movie news for fun. Because this show is Adam Does Movies. I'm obviously Adam, I probably should have led with that, but perhaps I have led you to check out the show on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, and hopefully we can do movies together. Hot.
Oh, hey there, it's a promo for a podcast. Great! Exactly what you want to hear when you're settling down to listen to the podcast you actually want to listen to. Well, give me just a few seconds and then you can go listen to whatever it is you're listening to, your true crime podcast hosted by former child actors or reality stars, whatever it is. My name is Troy LaValle and I'm the host of the Glass Cannon Podcast. This is a podcast where my friends and I sit around and play role-playing games and record it. Through improvisation, using comedy and drama, we take the rules of whatever game we're playing and we turn it into appointment television. That's the best way I can explain it. It truly is infectious fun. We travel the whole country playing rock clubs, turning games like this into a spectator sport. So please, check it out, the Glass Cannon Podcast. If you want some joy in your life, give it a listen.
Hey, it's Hillary Frank from The Longest Shortest Time, an award-winning podcast about parenthood and reproductive health. There is so much going on right now in the world of reproductive health, and we're covering it all. birth control, pregnancy, gender, bodily autonomy, menopause, consent, sperm, so many stories about sperm, and of course the joys and absurdities of raising kids of all ages. If you're new to the show, check out an episode called The Staircase. It's a personal story of mine about trying to get my kids' school to teach sex ed. Spoiler, I get it to happen, but not at all in the way that I wanted. We also talk to plenty of non-parents, so you don't have to be a parent to listen. If you like surprising, funny, poignant stories about human relationships and, periods, The Longest Shortest Time is for you. Find us in any podcast app or at longestshortesttime.com.